Please subscribe, like, and share. Hello, this is Ben. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe, like, and share. What we're going to talk about today is not about technical issues, but I just want to put out there that our industry is really different. In short, basically, when you want to become a doctor, after you've done your schooling, you pass the medical board before you're certified as a doctor, and then you do your thing at the hospital, your residency, before you become a full-fledged doctor. Same thing with the law. When you become a lawyer, you have to pass the bar exam. So you get the medical board for a doctor, you get the bar exam. Look at automotive, the racing world, there's no such thing. Anybody with a little bit of money and a little savvy can rent a shop, open up, and put racing. Many never really race on a serious level. A lot of them are really rookies in the game, and they open up a shop and say racing when they don't even compete or race for any. I mean, I've known a lot of people out there with racing shops, building engines, but never hit the racetrack. More so any of their customers. So the bottom line is, how do you regulate this business or this industry? There is none. Anybody can claim, anybody can do this, do that, and that's where trouble starts. When it's not regulated by any governing body or any sort of association. I posted this video because I have a good friend who ended up building his Mini Cooper, and he paid about $8,000 plus just on the engine, and it didn't even last very long. And then when he opened it up, the work was subpar, and the old parts that was in his original engine were still there. Timing chain, gears, nothing was changed. Okay, so it's hard. I don't want to take anybody's livelihood away, but at least when you claim your automotive repair shop, have the proper background or experience, combination of both, and top it off with education. If you had some factory schooling, either you go to GM, Ford, or Dodge, or whatever, Volkswagen, Porsche, and become a full-fledged tech, that is great. But right now, there are a lot of shops out there, BMW experts, whatever, without the backing. And it is sad, really. And today, I went to my friends, and like I said, with the Mini Cooper, then I have another picture here of two beautiful Mustangs. And they spent a lot of money because these cars are chassis cars, really pro street cars, running out here in the boulevards and stuff. Serious machines, but they're seriously lacking in power. You know, at first look at it, you go, oh my gosh. You know, and one that Eleanor posted here, he met me at the park and he told me, drive it. So I did. I drove it. I was expecting just blip the throttle. Remember, this is a 67 or 68 fastback, 67, and it's got a big block. Crate engine. With the crate engine in there, it said, I think, like 550 or 575 horsepower. I expected to annihilate, really smoke these tires. It's got a Richmond 6-speed, and when I drove it, I was rather disappointed. So he bought it from a friend, and a friend had it built by somebody. I have no idea. I didn't put a timing light on it, or I didn't put a tune to try to see what possibly went wrong, because I drove it rather disappointing. So somewhere down the line, something got disconnected. It is 68. Looks good. Listen. That's 460 in it. Yeah, that's really big. Making me jealous. 6-speed Richmond. You got a 6-speed Richmond in it. Beautiful. There's the owner. I've been working on this thing. Should be good. This is Justin, one of my cars. Beautiful 70. It will have one of my engines here. Doors open. Doors ajar. Beautiful, beautiful. I have one of my 421. You have one of my engines by a month's time, a 421 stroker. Here's my Raptor. Carson Coffee, Las Vegas. One thing that is rare is this one.
Brand new one.
You usually see these cars in the museum, not here. Look at those 180 headers. Beautiful, beautiful. There's suspension on
Look how
it.
big the wheels are. Those definitely look like race car tires, huh?
You seldom see these cars on the street. Usually, like I said, on museums. Ford didn't like that. They wanted them on the streets where they could be enjoyed. Back to my truck, my Raptor. I think I'm the only truck here. Oh well, that is cool. And another AC Cobra. Just try to stay warm, guys. Just try to stay warm. Have a good weekend. That's why when I want to ask the question to these people, are you satisfied with the power? It basically gave me a blank stare. Because usually when a customer is satisfied, you say, how's the power? With a smile, they go, yeah, this one hauls butt. I like that. But unfortunately, this is not the first time I've seen this happen. I've seen it many times. And it gives our industry a bad name. And I'm not for big government to have some big association, regulatory body to test everybody out there. I think we're beyond that, but really sometimes there's a serious need for some kind of regulation, because you cannot just open up a shop and say this or that. And I've seen it many times. It saddens me because I know a lot of you guys there are do-it-yourselfers, or you have a strict budget. You're not really, money's not growing on trees. That, hey, if it blew up, let's build another one. Very few of those. A lot of them really count their dollars and cents, and hopefully they get the best for the money spent. And unfortunately, there are more than enough cases where I've seen enough cars out there that came from shops that are so-called racing, but it didn't happen. Now, in closing, let me just remind people that before I retired from LAPD, it was brought to my attention that since they know I build engines, there was a shop out here in California that they wanted to nail because the guy had numerous complaints, and they showed me a big block build that it did, and just in pictures, or what was that, some kind of hidden camera, showed me what this engine is all about. They popped the valve cover, so forth and so on. And unfortunately, the guy charged a lot of money for this engine. And when I looked at it, it's bone stock, cast crank, regular rocker arms and a high performance build. Who's going to do that? But it does happen. Supposedly full head work. I look at single springs on the heads, no guide plates, absolutely no porting, but claim all sorts of head work. And like I said, there's no regulation. Unfortunately, I retired, and somebody probably took that case, but they were going to use me as the expert guy if he ever ends up in jail. And this guy was a law enforcement officer that owned a race shop. Oh my God. I was glad I wasn't involved at that point. I'm glad I was out. But imagine, this was even a law enforcement officer doing this kind of work. So let's look at this thing, and hopefully I would like to hear your comments, the good and the bad. What can we possibly do to regulate this business or cross-check each other? And I think there's no better should we say, acknowledgement than good word of mouth. But there are still others out there that will talk, regardless. And lastly, me as a professional, I don't build generic engines. Everything's custom made to my customer specifications. Because if you build generic engines, piston, heads, whatever, camshaft, it's going to run just like what everybody has. Just like crate motors. You don't buy crate motors and say, I'm going to dominate the track. Because you know what? There are probably 500, 100, dozens of those around your area as well. And they're going to take you on. But when specifically built for an intended purpose, for the money spent, and hopefully that is what you end up with. So I take a while sometimes to do stuff because I will not use generic. I look at what my head flows, what my actual compression is, the weight of the car, the transmission ratios. It'll tell me where to set my engine up. It all matters. Now, I hope this is a worthwhile advice for everybody, and I don't know what else to say. I'm saddened because these three individuals here really had a lot of money tied up in their cars. and they're far from satisfied. Please, thank you for watching my channel. Subscribe, like, and share so I can keep going and giving good advice, because it's just not the customer that gets unhappy, and the builder as well, you know, for justified or not, probably gets a bum rap or whatever. But what can I say? All right, so please comment, and maybe we can, you know, clear things out and see the good and the bad and how we can avoid it, or avoid getting basically victimized unneedlessly, spending more money, you know, 9-second budget, end up with a 15-second power plant. That's far from ideal. Thank you very much.